So now, here we go. Pay close attention. This right here is addressing the children. Addressing the children and whether or not you think they need to be taught intelligence as a child. There's different shows you need to fall back. You think about old shows like who was that? The smart guy that was a little kid that was a genius. You have what was that way back in the days? Doogie Howser, the doctor who was performing surgery at 16. He was like a actual doctor in a hospital. Just many things where they got the little child as a genius, and we acting like this is something special. No, this is a normal state. You call them child geniuses, but you're multi-genius by nature. So, what is a child genius? That's someone who's keeping up with what they're supposed to be. But even in those situations, you're still talking about a retard. Because multi-genius by nature means that in your youth, you have to be putting forth multi-genius qualities, not genius qualities. So, they may be genius in one quality, but unless they have a certain level of genius in all qualities, they behind the curve. And so now we're exalting stupidity because we're at such a level that stupidity looks genius. So now I'm going to talk about the lessons that are given to the children, irregardless of you. You have shows like, and also understanding that back in the days was a lot more intelligent than what we give credit for. And this is not a lesson on ancient times, 10,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So now, even in the black and white era of TV, The Outer Limits is one show that I know for a fact was extremely, the things that they was unveiling on that show was extremely powerful and potent. So now, they may not be detailed lessons, but just the conceptual thinking alone is powerful for the children to have that. So in my time as a child, you could give, you know what I'm saying, this is a lesson that's put in the brain. Now if you know, Outer Limits, if this is something that's shown at nighttime, then it has that mystique of horror. So now that's an adult. But in the daytime, this is a class that's you can disseminate to the children. You have like I said, The Land of the Lost. And I want you to bear with me and look at the points on this. Now, I'm purposely not decoding this show for you because I don't want to drop no knowledge on this. But as you see, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I could talk about this show for hours. This is just one show. You have to go back and watch as many shows that you remember, because as you look at these shows that you remember, you're gonna link on. Your mind is gonna make new neurons and connect with other shows that you forgot about. And every single show that you saw needs to be revisited. So The Land of the Lost is crazy with some of the conceptual things that they putting in the minds. Because remember, this is geared to children, so we're talking about conceptual thinking. This is not an educational class where you have to sit down and try to think about stuff. This is already in their brains and sparking off the concepts of how they should think. So now, not to discredit anybody in our communities that's been putting forth lessons, but lessons or not, the children are still getting these lessons. It's just a concept of how they receiving it. So now, I can speak about it, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, all of them. I can't go down the list because the list is vast, but I'll drop something on you. The Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno as the muscle-bound Hulk version of Bruce Banner. There was a show called The Disciple. It was about a white guy being trained by an Oriental ninja, and At some point he got damaged, lost his sight or some crazy stuff. But this show right here, and this is back in the era of the original Batman, the original Spider-Man, the original Wonder Woman, and corny versions of Superman. So understand, this is at a time, you know what I'm saying, where it's supposed to have been goofy, that the adults was looking at all this little goofy stuff that the children was looking at. But if you go back and see some of the theories they was putting forth on these TV shows geared to the children, your mind would be blown. So now The Disciple. This episode called The Disciple on The Incredible Hulk was dealing with metaphysics, regeneration, and a host of other topics on a spiritual level and a metaphysical bringing forth to the physical level. Seriously. I mean, this show in itself was a lesson. This was not, think about it. I mean, the lessons was actually in the show. And a lot of times the lessons are in these shows. So bear with me as I break down this one episode of Land of the Lost and just some of the theories that's putting forth, which is, our ancient arts, our ancient sciences, and the African ancient sciences. But to speak to a people directly would mean that you're exposing them to reclaim what they gotta say. So, misdirection and insinuating is the best way to teach somebody without teaching somebody. Please, just take a moment and bear with me.